Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Shalawama, Islam to all the Moors. I am Dr. Yasapa. If y'all want to know what I am means, if you go way back, if you trace it way back, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. I did 2 or 3 videos, I think, on the actual meaning of I am. And it is absolutely not what you have been taught I am is. And it's closer to you than you could ever imagine. All right? So what do I mean by it's closer to you? Hold on. So what do I mean by it's closer to you? You gotta find that out by watching the video. So y'all go over to Rumble, search Dr. Yasapa. Let me show you the link. I think I put the link in the post in the community post section. Hold on, let me see if I can all right, so this is a new channel, so I'm live streaming from Rumble. Hold on. So that's where you go. I'm gonna be live streaming more and more from Rumble, y'all. I want to get away from YouTube as fast and as quickly as possible. You know, YouTube is like a bad relationship. YouTube is like an abusive relationship that people tend to stay in because they don't have a choice, or they feel like they don't have a choice. Okay, y'all. So Dr. Yasapa, y'all go here on Rumble and subscribe, okay? So on Rumble, I can say anything I want, and they won't give me a strike, and they won't take the video down. Unlike YouTube, right? Where they, if I go into YouTube Studio, like, right, so I use Rumble Studio, no problem. I go into YouTube Studio, problems with the microphone, problems with the camera. The live stream takes 2, 3, 4, or I just can't go live at all. The live stream cuts off. So anyway, I've done several videos over on Rumble. So y'all go watch them. I put the link in the community post for my for our Rumble channel. All right, y'all. So y'all go subscribe. Go watch those other videos, especially if you want to know about I am and IU, the donkey ears, right? JC came riding into town on a donkey, etc., etc. Oh, let me show y'all something. Now y'all might think I'm grabbing, or what do they say, grasping. Let me show y'all something. I almost forgot about this. Let me show you something. Y'all remember Fire Marshal Bill? Let me show you something. Okay, y'all. So let me pull this image up. I was looking at this, and did I do a screenshot? Was it a screenshot? Hey, give me 1 second, y'all. And I got some other information. I'm asking a Vietnamese friend of mine to present it. I hope she will do it. Now, y'all tell me if I'm grasping. Now, remember, so go over to Rumble. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're unfamiliar with the lesson I did with this picture, go over on Rumble, and you can learn the Sabian interpretation of this picture. All right, y'all, look at this. Look at his foot. Look at his knee. Look at the bottom of his coat going down toward his ankle. Now y'all tell me, maybe I'm stretching. Maybe I'm stretching. But do y'all see a number 7, a backward number 7 there? Do y'all see the backward 7? Take a look at that. I'll zoom in. Can y'all see the 7? So the 7 is from, so I can't see. Hold on. So here's the, I don't know what y'all can see. Oh, dang it. Wait a minute. Do y'all see the 7? It's dark. So the camera is backward for me. So here's the 7. Oops. Do y'all see it? Do y'all see that 7? Okay. Now I see a 7. Now maybe I'm grasping. Maybe I'm reaching. But if you turn that 7 this way, do y'all see the Big Dipper? Do y'all see the Big Dipper? The fully shadowed part would be the Dipper. So let me turn it this way. Do y'all see the Dipper? Let me see. Hold on. So yeah, the camera is backward, y'all. So I see. So here's the Dipper, the shaded in part, and here's the 7. Okay, y'all see it? So here's the 7. Y'all see it? Or you can even go like this to 7 like that. Either one is a 7. Do y'all see it? So let me show you the Dipper. So why is it important? Because that 7 is the Big Dipper, and the woman in Noble Drew Ali's arms is the Great Mother Typhoon, who is represented by the 7, or a circle 7. So this is the thigh. See, it's on the leg. It's on his leg. Do you see the leg? See, circle 7 is the leg of the great bear. The leg of the great bear. Or the thigh, rather, the thigh part of the great bear. Do y'all see it? So it's on Noble Drew Ali's leg. So I thought that was very interesting. Okay, I thought it was very interesting. For those of you who may not, let me just go over just a little bit. So the crescent is actually not the crescent moon. Well, in the solar zodiac and the solar religions, this would be the crescent moon and star. But it traces back to the original zodiac, which is Venus. See, Venus and the star. Okay, so this would actually be, so in the solar, so in the religions, it's the crescent moon and the star. In the solar zodiac, it would be Venus and the star. It traces back to the circumpolar zodiac, or Sabian time. The circumpolar zodiac, which is the original zodiac, it traces back to the celestial ship of the north. Okay? The celestial ship of the north. And that star, so the crescent moon is actually the thigh of the great bear. Okay? Today they call it the Big Dipper. We looked at that on Noble Drew Ali's leg. It's made up of 7 stars that circle around the pole star. So you're looking at the pole star, okay, and the celestial ship of the north. Do y'all see that? Everybody see that? Hold on. me 1 second. Hold on, y'all. Go back. Where is it? I have to find the image again. Here's another image of it. So in the religions, it looks like this. So they'll tell you that this is the crescent moon. In the Islamic religions, this is the image on the Islamic nations' flags. They'll say it's the crescent moon. But for those people who know better, it's actually Venus. Okay, so according to the solar zodiac, the crescent would be Venus. Okay, and then the star. And of course, this is a remix of the celestial ship of the north, which is what you're looking at. The crescent moon is actually the celestial ship of the north, or the thigh of the great bear, that is made up of 7 stars. And then that star right there is the pole star, which is now Polaris. All right? So the celestial ship of the north sails around or revolves around the pole star. It's made up of 7 stars, hence circle 7. Do y'all see it? And of course, the green represents the regrowth, the rebirth of vegetation. So all things that have to do with rebirth, some people might say reincarnation, whatever terms you want to use, it represents the coming back of life. Okay, the regeneration or the continuation of life. Okay, so let me see, where is the image? So of course, the original zodiac, which is the circumpolar zodiac, the Great Mother Typhoon, has been what, y'all? Has been erased from the minds of the masses of people. And only people who get to the highest degrees of the secret societies know anything about the Great Mother Typhoon. This is the original zodiac. So here is Prophet Noble Drew Ali bringing the Great Mother Typhoon back into our consciousness. Okay, and the waters behind him represents a deluge, or the ending of one age and the beginning of another age. All right, so the Jesus age and the solar zodiac age is ending as we adopt or return to the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. All right, so look at his leg again, and there's that 7. Okay, there's the Big Dipper. Look at his leg, y'all. I'm going to show y'all the Big Dipper. Look at that. All right. So let me show you. Hold on. So we also talked about the cares of the world. So y'all go back, watch the videos. You understand what the cares of the world actually means. It does not mean, when you trace this back to Sabian time, it has a different meaning than the cares of the world. Okay, who is cares? So I explained that over on Rumble, so y'all go watch that and get that information. 1 second, let me find an image of the Big Dipper for you. One second. So we have a lot of fun. So one thing you may notice is that a lot of this involves pattern recognition, okay? But actually much of learning involves pattern recognition, okay? So let me show y'all again. This is not what I'm looking for, but y'all know who this is, right? Now, do you see the celestial ship of the north? Where? Right in the center of his forehead. So just like CM Bay said, when the Moor stands up, his head what? His head represents the North Pole. Well, what's in the North Pole? The celestial ship of the North. And that star is the pole star right there in his head. So what is this telling us? The forehead is the executive function, that the part of the brain, that's the execution. It performs the executive functions of the brain. See, his head represents the north celestial pole, and his feet represent the south celestial pole, which are principles. So he's standing on principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's the point of the five-pointed star. Okay, so this man, although he taught religion, he's not practicing it. Okay, he's doing something else than what his followers are doing. Do y'all see it? He reconnected himself with nature. Circle 7, clock of destiny, natural law, don't steal, and celestial and terrestrial time cycles. In other words, science, technology, and engineering, linguistics, law, okay? All right. There's a certain type of education. What is it called? Not the seven liberal arts, but Mark Passio talks about it, y'all. Y'all go subscribe to Mark Passio's YouTube channel, Mark Passio, and you can learn about natural law and a proper education. He talks about that stuff a lot, okay? Mark Passio, y'all Google search him on YouTube. All right. So that's what this man is doing. But he's teaching the masses, or he taught the masses, religion, dogmatic religion. All right. And so here we see the same thing. Y'all see these men? Do y'all see circle 7? All right. Is it hidden in plain sight? Now that sword carries another meaning. It's the subjugation, okay, of the Moabite woman. All right. Remember, the circle 7, or the celestial ship of the north, is the Great Mother Typhoon. All right, y'all? So here's another image of it. Okay, y'all? Do you see the crescent moon? That's actually that's actually the thigh of the Great Bear, made of 7 stars. The 5-pointed star is Polaris, or the pole star. Everybody see that? And then there's a sword over the Great Mother's head. Do y'all see it? Now that pharaoh, that's a solarite. That is a solarite. Okay, that's a solarite. And the solarites are not our friends. They're the ones who did the conquering. Hold on, y'all. Let me find this. Give me 1 second. Let me relax. Here's the cover of the book, the original book, Celestial Ship of the North. 2-volume work. Do y'all see? Do you see the sun in the center? Take a good look. Well, the star in the center, y'all take a good look at that. This is the celestial ship. So the crescent is actually the thigh of the Great Bear. And then you see the pole star. Do y'all see it? All right. Everybody see that? There we have it. So, give me one moment, please. So let me look at it online. Let me find it online. Give me a second. So here's the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. Okay, now our ancestors said that the Big Dipper represents what we call now, or in the dogmatic religions, they call the Big Dipper Eve. Eve in Genesis chapter 2. And then the Little Dipper is Adam. The Little Dipper, or Ursa Minor, is Adam. Ursa Major, or the Big Dipper, is Eve, representative of the prominence of the feminine function of the Hermetic law of gender. All right, so in religion and in civics, they would call that the matriarchy, okay? The matriarchy. As above, so below. As below, so above. It happens celestially first. Does everyone see that? So this image was mythologized. Well, let me rephrase that. It is celestial. Adam and Eve are celestial. They're in the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden is the North Pole. It was mythologized into the fall of man. Okay? Into a story about the fall of man. We're going to get into that as we go through the Celestial Ship of the North. And then ultimately, it becomes Adam and Eve as a man and a woman on earth. Okay, showing their celestial origin. Okay? All right. And so these are the stars that make up the Big Dipper. Do you see 3 in the handle and 4 that make up the Dipper? This is the number 7 that's on Noble Drew Ali's leg in that image. Okay? This is the number 7 that's written on Noble Drew Ali's leg on that image, but it's backward. Okay? And that's all right. Because these images are supposed to be hidden in plain sight. So the question becomes, well, why would Noble Drew Ali hide it? Well, I don't even know if Noble Drew Ali drew the image. But what I do know from my own study is that Noble Drew Ali left signs, includes breadcrumbs, and obvious leads back to Sabian time. Obvious leads back to Sabian time. And here's circle 7, right in his leg. Where else would you expect it to be other than his leg? And here's the Big Dipper. I hope everyone sees that. All right. And actually, the cares of the world, cares is actually tracing back. It's actually a Greek goddess. It traces back to the Great Mother Typhoon. Okay, who was basically destroyed. Okay, and any remembrance of her and all knowledge about Sabian time, which is the Great Mother, has been hidden from the public or made occult, hidden, and reserved as an education in the mystery schools of secret societies for those who reach the highest levels. And they gave the masses an external deity called God, or titled God. All right. Now, I forgot to mention part of this circumpolar zodiac, part of the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers is the workshop of the mind. And the workshop of the mind is, I need to show the image again. Do you see salvation? Do y'all see salvation? The workshop of the mind is your salvation. See, you are the captain. You're the captain of your ship. Right? How does the saying go? I'm the captain of my ship, the something of my destiny. See, salvation. The Great Mother Typhoon, the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, salvation. The workshop of the mind is where you save yourself. Right? You're your own salvation. The kingdom of God is within, Christ within. So the harmonic state of the left and right brain hemispheres, bringing those into harmony, that's going to be 7 to 14, or on average 10 beats per second. Okay? Or 10 cycles per second, rather. So now the left and the right brain are harmonic with one another, and now you can consciously control the right side of your brain, meaning you can bend reality. Or today they would call it manifesting. But I don't like to use manifesting because manifesting doesn't tell the whole story. So through visualization and imagination, just you yourself. And I talk about what visualization and imagination are, and how they differ and how to use them. Y'all have to go subscribe on Rumble to get that information, okay? But this is the salvation that we see. And of course, the harmonizing, the bringing the right and left brain hemispheres into harmony, that's the Hermetic law of rhythm. The Hermetic law of rhythm. And when we practice that and we practice it, we initiate or activate the lesser law of cosmic habit force. Napoleon Hill calls it cosmic habit force. In other words, we can make behavior a habit so we don't have to think about it. We do it automatically. In other words, we can overcome or deprogram any unwanted beliefs or values, behaviors, or stated otherwise, habits that we don't want. Disempowering habits, disempowering beliefs, disempowering values. We can overturn them, crush them, destroy them. Okay, that would be through the activation of the lesser law of cosmic habit force. And how is that done? through the transmutation of our character, which is the Hermetic law of polarity, going from the lower self to the higher self, and then polarizing at the higher self. I'm speaking Hermetic law language right now. Okay, this is also the bridging. The bridging. So Saturn is the bridge. Saturn is the planet that sends you lessons in life to improve your character. But maybe you don't want to improve your character. Maybe you want to stay lower self. Right? So you're going to continue to get the beat down. Continue to get the curses. Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 68. Bam, 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 bam. Bills of pains and suffering. Bam, bam, bam. Bills of attainder. Bam, bam, bam. Right? That's the way it TIE is. Escheat. Hypothecation. So on and so forth. Why? Because we are out of harmony with nature. In other words, we have adopted, or we are in a solar mindset. And we need to be in the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, which is Sabian, the Sabian mindset. Okay, and when we go to the Sabian mindset, and we're living according to the principles, remember the South Celestial Pole are the 5 greatest principles of the universe: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Stated differently, don't steal. Okay, don't steal someone's right to make a decision or to have full knowledge. Don't steal due process, etc., etc., etc. Okay, go to Mark Passio's YouTube channel. You can learn about the what does he call them? The 7. You know what? Let me show this, y'all. This is important. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to this man's channel. All right, make sure you subscribe to this man's channel. Need this information. Hold on. Let me make sure I get to his channel and not somebody else's channel. Damn, they unsubscribed me. They unsubscribed. I can't believe that. They unsubscribed me. All right, y'all. So, or you know what? Maybe somebody made a copy of the following content. So, do y'all see? Anytime YouTube does something like this, this is the man, Mark Passio. I'm asking y'all to go subscribe to his channel to learn about natural law and I believe it's 7 different ways that people steal. It would be rape, right? Due process, the right for consent. I have to go review it. I don't remember each of the 7, but you can easily get that information. Look at what they did to this brother. Damn. See, that's what I'm saying, y'all.
Yes.
Subscribe to my channel on Rumble. So I'm going to show a different one. This is his channel. All right. Our people really need to know what he's teaching. So this is, look at this. Now, I've watched his videos, y'all. There's nothing graphic about what he's teaching at all. There's nothing violent about it.
Yes.
Fucking bastards. So he has a natural law documentary. He has a lot of good stuff, y'all. Let me make sure. Let me make sure somebody didn't duplicate his channel. Hold on. You know, like we say, where when I was coming up, YouTube ain't shit. Put it like that. If y'all come from, if y'all grew up in the '80s, yeah. But he's got a lot of good. Ah, here we go. All right, this is what Mark Passio teaches, and his work is very good, very, very good. I'm trying to find the 7 ways that people steal. Hold on. Well, I've shown enough. Y'all can go here and find the 7 ways that people steal. And number 1, you can stop stealing. And number 2, you can recognize when someone is stealing from you. And then number 3, you can use the information civically in your writs to enforce the Constitution. And you won't be dumb out here anymore. All right? Mark Passio's got some great information, y'all. All right? I've been sending Dr. G at the House of Reawakening Minds links to his videos, asking her to invite him on to do a show. But I never got a response back from her. So if anybody has access to Dr. G on House of Reawakening Minds, y'all ask her, invite this man on. Actually, I think based on his last name, he looks like he might be Italian. I've been asking her, sending her messages. I don't know if she gets them, if she looks at my messages. But I've been asking her to bring Mark on. So if anybody has access to Dr. G, or even if you don't, can y'all just bombard her with links to his videos and ask her to invite him on? I don't know if he will agree. I don't know if he'll agree, but at least ask her to invite the man on so he can come on and do some presentations, because our people really need to hear what this man is teaching. All right. Like I said, I've been trying for a long time and I never get a response from her. I don't know why. But anyway, so in the let's continue. So in the videos that I did over on Rumble, do you guys see that 7? Do you see the 7? And I shadowed it. You know, you can make the 7 into a Big Dipper or the thigh of the Great Bear. Hold on. At least somebody reach out to her. The man may say yes, he may say no, but at least we can try. All right. Do y'all see the Big Dipper there now from the 7? Do y'all see that Big Dipper? All right. So depending on where the handle is pointing, that will tell you the season. All right. On an annual basis, and it'll tell you the time of the day on a 24-hour basis. Okay. It'll tell you the hour of the day on a 24-hour day as it rotates around the pole star. All right, y'all. Circle 7. All right. All right. So yeah. All right. So that's the big thing. Natural law, don't steal. Mark Passio is an expert on the topic. He will y'all tell this to Dr. G. Mark Passio is an expert on natural law. Don't steal. He teaches it simply, in a way that's simple and easy for everybody to understand, no matter what your educational level is. And then he tells you about, I believe it's the 7 types of theft in law. The 7 types of theft in law. Our people need to hear this. Okay? This is part of the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. And we are supposed to return to the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, not as a religion, but so that we can become harmonic with nature. Again, we have to get out of the solar religions and the solar zodiac. All right? And go back to Sabian time, the circumpolar zodiac projection, which is science, technology, engineering, architecture, and what's the name of that educational style? Mark Passio knows about the type of education delivery system. It escapes my mind right now. It'll come to me. But those are the three things that she can ask him to present. Maybe he can do it in 3 or 4 or 1, whatever he wants, or whatever they agree to. However many times he can come on and present. All right, y'all? I don't have anything to gain I'm not getting anything personal out of it. All right, so let's get back to what we're doing. So we're on chapter 10 of the Celestial Ship of the North, volume 1. Let me turn that off. Oh, it's already late. Dang. Volume 1, this is published by Emma Valencia Strayton, published in 1927. It's a 2-volume work. All right. And just so y'all will know, niggas can't go to heaven. You ain't got no soul, and you can't be saved. Period. Oh, Dr. Yasafa, you're being racist. See, when we were told to go back to the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, there's a reason for it. So on my notes, I didn't make it up. Can't nan one of you niggas go to heaven. And ain't nan one of you niggas able to be forgiven. When I say nigga, I'm talking about y'all blacks and African Americans and all of that. Even those of y'all who what they would say connotatively are mixed. All right, maybe you passing, or you got an uncle or auntie who's passing. Can't none one of y'all go to heaven. So let's look at this. On page 32, this answers a lot of questions, y'all. So you know what it means. See, when you understand this, you understand why the medical doctors at that time, the slave drivers, the foremen, the so-called masters, why they felt that you were an animal, and why they felt like you don't experience pain the way that one of them feels pain. Because, well, let me read this for y'all. It's at page 32, right? Let me read this. Let me show it first. All right. So you ain't got shit coming in the solar zodiac or the solar religions, not nan one of them. It don't matter if it's Christianity, Islam, any of them. You ain't got SHIT common. Now y'all pause this on a replay. Let me read this to you. The Negroes are denationalized Moors. Denationalized Moors. How were they denationalized? Through conquest, physical and mental conquest. What was the physical and mental conquest? Religious wars. Religious psych ops. Military psychological operations such as Christianity and Islam. The Negroes were thought to be sons of the mythical Ham, who is Cam, a Hebrew derivative of the Egyptian god called Sevic Cronus. Did you hear that? A Hebrew derivative. Do y'all know what let's look up derivative. For those of you who don't have an understanding the basic concepts of language. How words are constructed and how words are related. So let's take a look at this. This is doggone shame. Do y'all, if you went to school in the 70s or 80s or even the 90s, y'all know that this is not this is not allowed. Look at that. They're defining a word using the word itself. It's not permissible. Look at that. Look how stupid. So let's go to Britannica. No, they don't have it there. So they're giving the mathematical definition. Let's look in Collins' dictionary. This is doggone shame. Damn, this is really sad. Very sad. Look at this, y'all. So as a noun, a derivative is a term. It's an idea, etc., that is based on or derived from another term or idea in the same class. So the same class would be, for example, words that are made from a specific root or base. So words are made from, we have what are called base words and what are called root words. Okay, some sources will call them radicals. Okay, so the base or the root is not a word in itself. You can't speak it. Okay, it's the foundational building blocks upon which words are formed. So you have to add, for example, other letters. You add a prefix, a suffix, an infix. You add one letter. You can combine two roots. Okay, this is how words. It's called word morphology. How words are constructed. All right. So he or Ham. Let's go back to page 32. The Negroes were thought to be sons, S-O-N, sons of the mythical Ham, who is Cam, K-A-M. So here, what do we see, scholars? We see H-A-M becomes K-A-M, so that the H is exchanged for a K. It's a Hebrew derivative of the Egyptian god called Sevic Cronus. So Ham, Cam, traces back to Sevic Cronus, an Egyptian god. So what does this tell us? Well, first of all, we're already at the decline, right? So during the pure Sabian time, there were no gods. There were no gods. Okay, y'all? So this is during the time period where we began to stop following the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. This is probably something that they made up during the solar time, or just around the transition time before the Solarites took complete power, all right, or overthrew their mother, the great mother Typhoon. So here it is. Cam, Ham, a derivative of the Egyptian god called Sevic Cronus. A second phase, did y'all hear it? A second phase, which means a remix. A second phase, a remix of the son, S-O-N, of the first mother. The first mother is the great mother Typhoon, who, when he became planetary, this is Sevic Ra. Let me explain this. So Sit, the dog star, is the great mother's Typhoon, first and only begotten son. Sit, the dog star, in the south celestial pole. So when we talk about Sit, the dog star, it's in the constellation Sirius. Sit, the dog star, is the hour hand of the clock of destiny. The tail of the thigh of the Great Bear, which is today called the Big Dipper. So the handle of the Big Dipper, the tail of the Great Bear, is the minute hand of the clock of destiny. Y'all see it? So the pole star in the south, the south celestial pole, this is the pole of principles. So for we autochthonous Moors, it's love, truth, freedom, and justice. It has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with living in harmony with nature. All right? So it's equivalent to saying don't steal. All right? It's equivalent to saying don't steal, which is why the only case that can be brought against someone is for an injury. You have to injure someone, right? When you injure someone, you stole something from them, like a rape. Or maybe you stole their right to due process of law, stole their right to notice, stole their right to enforce. Y'all see it? Stole their right to give consent So you injured them. So this is the clock of destiny. Okay? The tail of the great bear in the north, the minute hand of the clock of destiny, and Soot the dog star in the south, the hour hand of the clock of destiny. Soot gets remixed into a god called Sevic Cronus. Cronus means time. Sevic Cronus. Cronus means time. All right, so Sevic Cronus is a second phase or a remix of the son of the great mother, of the son of the first mother. The first mother again is Great Mother Typhoon. The Great Mother Typhoon gets remixed into Virgo, gets remixed into the moon god, gets remixed all over the place. Okay? Gets remixed into Eve in the Garden of Eden. All right, so Sevic Cronus is a remix of the sun. So that's Soot, the dog star in the south, the son of the great mother, who when Soot became planetary, so Soot gets remixed into a god and then remixed into a planet called Saturn, whose color is black. So Soot is black. Sevic Cronus color is black. Saturn's color is black. Hence, I proposed that blackamoor was initially not an insult. Because when you look at the etymology of the word, it has to do with burning. Okay, a pale due to burning. A pale color due to burning. So, of course, the stars are called fires. The stars are called fires. So initially, yeah, maybe I'm wrong. You can check this with somebody who would know better than me. Because I'm certainly not trying to start any arguments or fights. But it's very easy for me to see how the pale as in ashes, would be there because of burning. And the burning are the stars, the fires in the sky. Y'all heard? The fires in the sky. And when something is burning and you smolder it, meaning you limit the oxygen, you create charcoal, which is a deep black. Okay, and then you get the ash, which is pale. And then that could have been, so in other words, blackamoor would have been the shiny moor, or the fiery moor, or something like that, the glowing moor, in terms of fire. But I don't feel like going through. Maybe I should look. I'm trying to decide if I should go to the etymology. Hold on. Of black. It's kind of like I do this. Kind of like I do it so much. Sometimes I get tired of doing the same thing over and over. Let me try to pull this up. Give me 1 second. Yeah, here we are. All right, so y'all look at this. So so you see my search term is black etymology. The word black comes from Old English blake, meaning black or dark, and is derived from Proto-Germanic black ass. Which means burned. Its roots can be traced back to Proto-Indo-European blag, meaning to burn, gleam, shine, reflecting the colors associated with the absence of light. Okay, y'all? So the Great Mother, as we know, is imaged as intensely black, no light. And the Great Mother adopted light to make herself seen. But there are other definitions. I'm gonna stop there, so y'all see my point. So anyway, let's continue. So Saturn, y'all, is soot. Saturn is the quote unquote Negro. Nikki G. Shalawama, Nikki. Oh, it's a pleasure to see you here. You just made my day. Nikki is one of the most brilliant people that I've come across, okay, in the work that I'm doing now. She gets everything quickly. All right, y'all, so let's continue. Astrologically, the planet Saturn is of the greatest importance to the Negro race today. There is no Negro race. It is of great importance to the autochthonous Moors. Autochthonous Moors. We are a nation. We are a nation by lawful definition. And we're the heirs. We're the rightful heirs. Okay, we are the rightful heirs. Y'all watch the other videos that I've done and you can learn more about that. Especially look up land in the law dictionary. And then put that in context of the legal maxim. Y'all can get that in my other videos. If I start talking about it now, I'll go on and I won't finish what we're trying to do. But if I remember, we'll go back into it, okay? So let's continue. So astrologically, the planet Saturn is of greatest importance to the Moors, the autochthonous Moors today. Notice it says astrologically. Because it indicates, listen, y'all, it indicates a bridging over to a new condition, a bridging over to a new mindset. Saturn gives us lessons, and we need to learn those lessons, and these lessons bring us back in harmony with nature. Nothing to do with religion. It takes us back to the Hermetic principle of polarity, the Hermetic law of polarity, going from lower self to the higher self. So we need a bridge. We need a bridge to go from lower self to higher self. And that bridge is Saturn. The lessons we get from Saturn to help us become aware of the problems with our character. Y'all got that? So we're talking about the Hermetic laws, not religion. Okay? We're talking about consciousness, our connection to consciousness. See, if you know anything about, if you've been following my work, you know that you are consciousness. You are pure consciousness. But have you accepted that? Can you consciously control that? Can you consciously use it? I mean, go into the workshop of the mind and bend reality. See, this is what the Solarites don't want you to know about yourself. This is why great men like Noble Drew Ali tells us, he says, after you study everything, go and study yourself some more. I'm paraphrasing. Why? Because when we study ourselves, it will take us back to the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, which is harmonic with nature, which means that you become independent, self-sufficient. Felix Fortuna writes, King Cephas of Ethiopia, from Greek meaning sunburned face or similar. Absolutely. 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 So now that we have this information, we understand that in a completely different way. So when I hear that, I'm hearing sunburn, black. I'm hearing the Great Mother Typhoon, Sabian time. That's what I'm hearing. I'm not hearing just a person with a dark complexion. That's not what I'm getting from that. Sunburn, sun, sun. What's a sun? A star. What is Polaris? The pole star. It's a star. It's a sun. Sunburn, burn black. Let me show y'all this. The Great Mother is imaged as intensely black. Page 9. Talking about the Great Mother. Second paragraph. She, that's talking about the Great Mother, she has been imaged as intensely black. Her bosom bare, crowned with a golden pyramid, about which twined an immense serpent. Now, y'all, let me say this. This is referencing the serpent in the Garden of Eden and the tree of life, which actually astrologically or celestially extends from the Garden of Eden, which is the north celestial pole, and then the tree trunk extends all the way down to the south celestial pole with its roots. And hence we have the tree of life and the snake coiling around the trunk of the tree. Y'all heard? Coiling around the trunk of the tree, representing, each coil represents a change of the pole star. So now the pole star is Polaris. Okay, it will eventually be replaced by another pole star. Y'all understand? So in the temple in Dendera, they show a snake with 8 coils around the tree, representing or symbolizing 8 changes of the pole star. And each of those cycles so a pole star is there for approximately 25,900 years. So you multiply that by 8. All right, now let's go back to this. Also about the serpent. She's also called the serpent woman. The Great Mother Typhoon is called the serpent woman. So therefore her children would be who, y'all? Sons of the serpent. Sons with the womb and sons without a womb. So some people are calling these serpent people, what do they call them, y'all? Reptilian. Some people are calling these sons of the serpent mother reptilians. But I'm proposing that they're not reptilian. These are autochthonous Moors who have been defamed, slandered, and libeled. And that these reptilians are nothing more than mythologies. Nothing more than mythologies. Mythical deities that if you believe in them, they take your power away because you feel like there's nothing you can do because they are gods, when they are in fact us. All right, so let me continue reading this. Night and darkness belong as symbols to very great antiquity. See, they're talking about Sabian time, night and darkness. See, the night and darkness were considered good. Everything that you associate with light and God, in Sabian time, we associate it with night and darkness. A superabundance of darkness metaphysically is light. Darkness adopted illumination in order to make itself visible. That's coming from a quote by a famous astronomer rather, named Robert Flood. Did y'all get that? Okay, so let me look at these. Hold on, let me. Okay, so Felix Fortuna writes, yup, Kimite from Egypt means same. Yes, black people, Nubia and such. Yes, I got ya. Felix writes, Apollo kills the typhoon, or the python, Phoenix cycle and such. TJ Ward just got here. What are you reading from? We're reading from The Celestial Ship of the North, The Celestial Ship of the North, by Emma Valencia, Straight Time, Volume 1. TJ Ward writes, so a new pole gets created every not created, it's just a rotation. It's just a rotation. They're already there. Felix writes, Thuban worshippers, but Thuban betrays and becomes Theo, Nike, Apollo, victory of light, of darkness. Disregard my what you're reading. I see what page you're on, though. Okay, all right, great. So we have to also remember, scholars, that all of these authors are telling us that if we unpack the mythology, the mythology with the correct principles, we can re-engineer the story. All right. In other words, the truth is in the mythology, but you have to be off of that Christ juice, right? You've got to be off of the Christ juice, otherwise you won't see it. Okay, you will not see it. So let me show you another reference to the darkness. All right. Let me show you another reference to the darkness. Let me. So page 11. Y'all know these are some of my favorite things, because these are the basic principles that one needs to understand in order to really get this topic. So I'm going to go through the footnote, okay? This is the footnote on page 11. Footnote 1. This mother of revolution, this is the great mother Typhoon, this mother of revolutions was called the producer and reproducer of souls. Well, there's no such thing as souls, S-O-U-L. That's Catholic. It's S-O-L, S-O-L, which means S-U-N. S-O-L in Latin is S-O-L, which means S-U-N, son. So she is the producer and reproducer of souls, S-O-L-S, of sons, of fires, of the house of Yasharala. The Moors, who have a celestial origin, who are fires. Do y'all get it? S-O-L is S-O-N. I'm sorry, S-U-N is the same as S-O-N. Check it in Dutch or German. So is called a homophone. Same sound, different spelling. So they changed it in English to hide this. Because remember, we're dealing with word magicians, and their magic wand is a pen. Let me show y'all. For those of you who don't know, in the earliest Christian iconography, JC is seen performing performing his miracles with a magic wand. So here it is, Jeremiah 8:8, the magic wand made out of Hollywood. Made out of Hollywood. Okay? So hence, Hollywood writes scripts. So on, I don't need to go into it. So this mother of revolutions, remember Circle 7? The thigh of the Great Bear, today called the Big Dipper, revolving around the pole star. This mother of revolutions was called the producer and reproducer of souls. The producer or reproducer of sons. S-U-N, and later S-O-N, or gods, who were the self-born, who came from the cycles, created by the revolutions of the stars of the Great Bear. They were later known as spirits of the gods. So they were remixed. The stars, the 7 stars of the Great Bear, were remixed into what are called the spirits of the gods. And in another phase, they were remixed as planetary spirits. Hence, Soot is remixed into Sevet Cronus. Sevet Cronus, or Soot, is also remixed into Saturn. And Saturn is the bridging planet. Remember the bridge, lower self, higher self. You need a bridge to go from the lower self to the higher self. So what's that bridge? The lessons provided by Saturn and your willingness to acknowledge and face those lessons and overcome those lessons and learn from them. And then you get a whole new set of lessons. And you get to move from lower self to higher self, all the way until you get to the higher self, which is the Christ. The sun in the summer solstice, June 22nd, the sun takes the title of the Christ. So when you get to the higher self, because you've been acknowledging and facing these lessons, learning and overcoming these lessons, you develop a habit. You develop a habit of living in harmony with nature, a habit of using the workshop of your mind, and then this habit gets taken up by whatever mechanism it is, and now it happens according to the law of cosmic habit force. You ain't got to think about it no more. It's your habit. Do y'all see it? It's your habit. So that's the mechanism. This is the transmutation, y'all. This is the transmutation. So Saturn provides that bridge for you to transmute up. We're only talking the Hermetic Laws, self-image psychology, and the workshop of the mind. What else are we talking about? Planning and goal setting. Ain't talked about religion yet. Okay, y'all? The abyss in Egypt is a name of the north. The abyss in Egypt is a name of the north. That would be the North Celestial Pole. And the original mother of this abyss, which was space, so space is the abyss. So this abyss in the Bible is referred to what? The abyss is the sea. As above, so below. As below, so above. Celestially, the abyss is a sea. Hence the celestial ship of the north. So the abyss is space, okay? And the original mother of this abyss, which is space, was called Typhoon, the mother of beginnings, the mother of the fields of heaven, the mother of revolutions, the mother of time cycles, as well as the mother of gods and men. She was later made goddess of the constellation of the Great Bear. Did y'all get that? Mother goddess, and her first son was called Soot, the dog star, in the south celestial pole region. It is here in the mystical allegory, born amongst the stars, that we find the original, or we find the origin of the Immaculate Conception. This mother was called the Old Woman because she was the first of all creation. Well, who created her? Consciousness. The Hermetic law of mentalism. Mentalism is consciousness. Y'all got it, y'all? So there are 7 Hermetic laws. Mentalism is the first, and the other 6 come from or originate or emanate from consciousness. All is mind. The universe exists in the mind of the all. All right, y'all? And the world had been made for her. Y'all see this is you see this in religion, right? The Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is a woman. Okay, the Hermetic law of gender in its feminine function of producing and reproducing or giving birth. See, that's a function of a woman. All right. From this early beginning developed the so-called Typhonian religion, which, with its types, is the oldest of all. So let me let y'all see that. That's page 11, and then we'll go back to where we were. So pause the video and y'all can read. Actually, you can read this whole page. You should read this whole page, okay? Let me get my fingers out of the way. Pause the video. Y'all can read the whole page. All right. So if you get these concepts down, if you can, they're not difficult. But if you can get your brain around these, then everything else becomes easy. Everything else becomes easy. You can understand and be able to solve these riddles on your own. You don't need me to do it. You can do it on your own. All right, so let's go back. Where were we? Sorry, page 150 something, right, y'all? Where were we? I done forgot where we were. Page 32. So the Negroes were thought to be sons of the mythical Ham, who is Cam, a Hebrew derivative of the Egyptian god called Sevic Cronus. This is Sut, right? A second phase, that means a remix of the son of the first mother, who, when he became planetary, when Sut became planetary, when Sut was remixed into a planet, was called Saturn. Saturn's color is black. Astrologically, the planet Saturn is of the greatest importance to the Negro race today, to the Moors today, because Saturn indicates a bridging over to a new condition. Noble Darrell-El tells us we have to return to the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. Get out of religion. Okay, this is the new condition. It indicates a bridging over to a new condition from lower self, solar time, solar zodiac, solar religion, lower self to higher self, Sabian time, circumpolar zodiac projection, workshop of the mind, natural law, don't steal, don't injure anyone, celestial cycles, circle 7, clock of destiny, and into an entirely new development which has to do with Africa. Now, everyone knows that America is Africa. Or if you don't know, y'all go read Circle 7, read CM Base, Clock of Destiny, so on and so forth, okay? Talk to any Moors about it, they can tell you. Let's continue. Where Saturn, listen to this, where Saturn has always been peculiarly potent. Well, of course, because why? Because Sut is Saturn. So if Sut is Saturn, that means you're Saturn. Right? You're Saturn. Okay? So what are you doing? You're not plugging in to something external. You're plugging into yourself. Now, most people have already heard or know that the decision maker has been proven by science. The decision maker is not inside the body. The decision maker is outside the body. This gets into the Hermetic law of gender too. The conscious and subconscious mind. Subconscious mind is referred to as the feminine. Okay, the feminine gender. Why? Because the subconscious mind controls growth and development of your physical body and your personality. So that's gender in its feminine function, right? And then the masculine is outside of the body. Okay, so the masculine man, right, or father, okay, in the solar religions, father. This is the will, this is the law that's passed from one family to another. So it would be what? And it would be the Ten Commandments. It would be Deuteronomy chapter 28, Deuteronomy chapter 29, the contract, the covenant. Does everyone see? The law that you are obliged to follow. In other words, you're obliged to follow natural law. This is nothing more than the mindset of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. Okay, y'all, this is what he is talking about. So let's continue. Saturn is the bridge. So let's continue. Astrologically, the polarity of Saturn. So we talk about polarity, we're talking about what? The opposite ends of the same line. Extreme opposite ends of the same line. This is polarity. Astrologically, the polarity of Saturn must be repolarized in Africa, must be repolarized in America by the Moors. Here it says repolarized in Africa by the Negro race. There is no Negro race, and we know that we Moors are from the Americas, all right? So, repolarize the lower self to the higher self. Y'all see it? That, listen, y'all, that primitive means original. In this context, that primitive people, the autochthonous Moors, the heirs to all land, all resources, including water, including solar, including commerce, including precious metals and minerals, all resources. We are the rightful heirs. And as long as they got you in the solar mindset, well, guess what? You have forfeited your birthright. Let's continue. That primitive people, the autochthonous Moors, belonging to an immense past. What's the immense past? Sabian time. Sabian time was before, up until, and prior to, up until 4,560 or 4,590 BC, when it is said that the first human, Han-Uman, the first human pharaoh, began to reign. This is when the Solarites took over. It was the Osirian pharaohs who overthrew the great mother Typhoon and Sut, her son, Sut the dog star. It was them. They're the traders who brought in the solar time with the solar religions and birthright slavery and bondage. T.J. Ward, would you say Hermetic laws are the most similar to the way it was during the Sabian Typhoon set cycles? Well, let me say this. I wasn't there. Okay, so I can only tell you what I can see. And what I see by the Hermetic law, these are the laws that undergird the universe, of which we as autochthonous Moors must not only be aware of, but understand and master and use them to build and create. So we're talking about science, scientific research, technology, engineering, and advance our way of life without without robbing or stealing, meaning without injuring anyone, everyone having due process of law, everyone being scholars like our ancient foremothers and forefathers. And it's the understanding of nature. In other words, the absence of dogmatic religion. And everybody understands nature, and everyone understands how to use their mind, the workshop of the mind, to craft the lifestyle, the health status that they want, and to help other people, and to be a universal brotherhood all over the earth, like it was during our ancestors' time when everyone followed the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, which was Circle 7, Clock of Destiny, right? Circle 7, Clock of Destiny, celestial time cycles, also terrestrial time cycles, terrestrial, the natural phenomena, natural law, don't harm anyone, workshop of the mind, okay? And all of this is undergirded by the Hermetic Laws. The first of which is mentalism, mind. Mind is consciousness. Thought is the activity of the mind. So great men like Noble Drew Ali and others have told us that man is thought made manifest from the soil. So thought is the activity of the mind. So this is who you are. If you ever wondered who you are, now you know who you are. You are thought made manifest, and thought is the activity of the mind. So the activity of the mind is thought. Thought, y'all go back and watch my other videos on Rumble, because I go through this. So we are told, y'all can get this out of the Celestial Ship of the North, Volume 1. We are told that man has his origin in the second star of the tail of the Great Bear. This would be the second star of the handle of the Big Dipper today. That star is called Mitsar. So the thought, consciousness, in action is thought, goes through Mitsar. Mitsar goes into the Dipper part of the Big Dipper, which is the celestial womb or the birthplace. So that thought is birthed out of the Dipper part of the Big Dipper. Y'all know what I'm talking about? It's also called the doorway, the celestial doorway. Let's just call it the womb, the celestial womb, the gynatrix or the gynamatrix, the celestial gynamatrix. So it is birthed out. The Great Mother gives birth to that thought. That thought comes to the earth, interacts with the soil, and is clothed in flesh. And this is who you are. And this is who you are. This explains the great maxim of law, which states that land and law are inseparable. Land and law are inseparable. Therefore, land is the substance and subject matter of the law. And when you look up land in a Black's Law dictionary, etc., what you're going to find is that land means moors, M-O-O-R-S, moors. Moors. So, moors and law are inseparable. That makes total sense now. Moors and law are inseparable. You cannot separate them. That's why they want you to. Okay. That's why they. Yeah. That's why they want you to agree to be black. Right? Because you have an unlimited right to contract. This is why they want you to be black. They want you to be African American. Why? Because Moors and law are inseparable. And we have a treaty to that effect. The Treaty of Peace and Friendship 1836, between the United States of America and the Moroccan Empire. Okay? It deals with trusts and wills, so on and so forth. All right? And it reflects the natural law. So moors and land are inseparable. Therefore, moors are the substance and subject matter of the law. The substance. That's why, well, let me not go into that. That's a we can let me finish this paragraph because they're about to close. So he continues here. Saturn can never reach its highest expression in the new cycle except in its bridging periods, and also through the Negro race cut, also through the Moors. That primitive people belonging to an immense past, that immense past is Sabian time, before 4,560 or 90 BC, that primitive people belonging to an immense past with only a few remnants of correlative races remaining. That's BS. We ain't going nowhere, y'all. We still here. These early races being dark, the Moors being dark complected. I'm translating that. A certain stigma has been placed upon you Moors. And even to the present time, that's 1927, they are thought by some, Moors are thought by some, not only to be born without souls, S-O-U-L-S, but past redemption, and to be excluded from heaven of the Christians, because they belong to a period previous to the entrance of the solar reckoning of time. In other words, the Moors are the original people. Okay? They're the original people. When the Solarites came in and changed everything, okay? They started reckoning time and reality by the sun. They're saying, F you Moors, you ain't got nothing coming. Okay, F you people who keep the mindset of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. Why? Why F you? Because I'm taking your birthright and I'm putting you in bondage, physical bondage, financial or economic bondage. Shut up. Y'all see it? Let me say it again. These Moors being dark complected, like the Great Mother Typhoon, a certain stigma has been placed upon the Moors, and even to the present time, they are thought to be born without souls. How many times have y'all heard that? People say black people born without souls. But past redemption cannot be saved, and to be excluded from the heaven of the Christians, because they belong to a period previous to the solar reckoning of time, because they belong to the Sabian time, the Sabian mindset. Okay, y'all? Before the fatherhood, before the patriarchy had been inaugurated. There you is right here. Okay? Now, doesn't that explain why you cause so much hell in Christianity and in Islam? See, I know the people in Islam catching hell. You know how I know? Because I know people from Sudan and other countries where the Muslims are in power. And they catch hell from those Muslims, just the same as we catch hell in the Americas. And actually, they're even worse off, y'all. I mean, they're you know, we tend to romanticize Africa, but man, it's terrible. Their mindset. But the advantage that they have is that they have their own school, so they tend to be good in math and science. But when you talk about this religious stuff, they're blown. They're just gone. Gone. Okay, y'all. So I didn't get to do anything that I planned to do, but at least now, y'all Christians and Hebrew Israelites, you know, you blacks, you ain't got no soul. According to the Solarites who made your religion. And you can't go to heaven. Ain't no room for you. You are excluded. According to the people, the Solarites, who made the solar religions. Okay, yeah, you can keep going, contributing your money, your fiat, your finance. They'll take your money. But in the end, you ain't got shit coming. And that explains your present circumstance. The only one who's going to win is the preacher, the pastor, the imam, the elder, what else? The generals and the captains. Yeah, they're going to get their pockets fattened. But the members, the masses, Mark chapter 4, verse 12. Shalom Islam to all the Moors. I, self, law, am master. Remember, y'all, go over and subscribe to my Rumble channel because there's a lot of information between the video that I did. I think the last one I did here on YouTube was number 9. I did a lot of videos on Rumble, so there's a big gap in the information. So y'all go to Rumble and subscribe and get that knowledge, okay? The knowledge is there, it's free. And anyway, I gotta go. They're closed. I'll see y'all on the next one.